Timcast IRL will be live in Miami with Patrick Bet David, Donald Trump Jr., Matt Gaetz, and Luke Rudkowski. Join us there. Get your tickets by clicking the link in the description below or by going to timcast.com. This is from the Washington Post from just the other day. Trump hits new poll highs with Black and Hispanic voters. What to make of it? I love the Washington Post. I think they're typically full of crap. They say either former President Donald Trump's standing in the early 2024 polls is inflated, or we are headed for a sizable realignment in how non-white voters cast their ballots. Multiple polls in recent weeks have shown Trump performing historically well among Black and Hispanic voters in head-to-head matchups with Biden, helping put him neck and neck with Biden in a way he rarely was during the 2020 matchup. So my question is to you guys, is it true? And if so, why?
Working class Blacks and Hispanics probably are getting hammered by inflation more than yuppie whites, right?
Yeah. Affluent white female liberals probably aren't dealing with the cost of a family meal at a restaurant.
Yeah, when the cost of a facial goes up, it's probably less impactful to the family budget than when you see prices rising at the grocery store or at the gas station.
I think there's tact. First of all, it absolutely is true. All the polls show it. They've showed it consistently. It's both tactically true and strategically true. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. It's tactically true in the sense of, yes, they go day to day. I'm paying more. My life is not better now than it was 4 years ago. From a tactical perspective, they absolutely say we need to see a change. Strategically, what I mean by that is, first of all, Hispanic people and Black people are just generally culturally more conservative. They always have been. They haven't voted that way because the Democrats sold them, magic beans and said, look, we'll give you a few dollars, and for that, you'll vote for us. And frankly, they bought into it. I think they're now coming around saying, first of all, it A, has not helped me, and B, all these cultural issues that I'm against are another part of the Democratic Party that I've been supporting. And I think the more we see ththese issues, when people say the radical trans agenda and they laugh, they go, what does that even mean? Well, what that means is pretty simple stuff. Like, look, I don't want to see a child getting medically transitioning, right? I don't want to see a kid being taken away from their parents. I don't want to see a man running against females or swimming against females. Like, that's what we're talking. Simple stuff.
Have you spoken with any particular? I know you're working on this stuff. You do a lot of man in the street stuff. Have you done any work around this yet?
Yes.
So are you finding these cultural issues are coming out in the conversations?
I did a video which I haven't released yet, but I'll talk about it here.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert. So I went to a Black community college in LA, right? All young, educated Black kids. And I said, let's play a game. I said, first of all, how do you identify politically? And every single one said Democrat, right? Without exception, every single one. They're young, they're educated. And then I said, okay, we're going to play a game. I'm going to name the top 10 issues facing our country today. It was trans, taxes, the police, the border, all the issues you think we talk about. I'm going to give you the position of each party, but not tell you which party is which. And now you tell me which position you resonate with the most. Out of the 25 kids I talked to, not a single one resonated with majority Democrat. They were all majority Republican because the issues that they care about, they just don't know. They were shocked.
Wait, give us the issue that would be the biggest surprise where they aligned Republican.
Oh, you know what the biggest one was on giving money to their community. I think we're talking about spending money,
like reparations and stuff.
No. I'm just talking about just handouts in general.
Yeah, welfare and entitlements.
I was like, look,
by the way, that is the modern incarnation of reparations.
Yeah,
like to go and take these programs that were broadly available and then to put sort of a lens of critical race theory or directing those money to non-white areas, like that is the modern day reparations that's happening now. But you say you don't think that's a winning message?
No, I mean it really isn't. Like I said, look, if you see there has to be an increase in taxes to pay for more welfare benefits, they go, I don't want that, don't want it. And when I asked them about
they're not politically voting; they're socially voting.
Yeah.
Is it social or cultural? It's almost like
cultural. That's what I mean.
Yeah, it's political inheritance. Right. I mean, that's what, look, my parents did it. My grandparents did it. And there's also an association, frankly, Republicanism and white, right? There's all this like cultural baggage that they have. But if you break down the issues in the Black community, this is what you get, right? And the Hispanic community, by the way, I think that having their open border policy, I know that ultimately, what was the goal of the Democratic Party? They want to change, like, the browning of America. They thought that would lock in a Democratic majority for generations.
And they said that on MSNBC and all these networks, and then it was called a conspiracy theory.
Or white replacement theory,
Yeah.
or racism. But in reality, this is probably one of the greatest geopolitical mistakes the Democratic Party's ever made, because Hispanics are they're coming here. And I think obviously we need to shut down the border for any illegal immigrants. The reality is the people who are coming here are coming from places, they're running away from what? Communism, socialism, things that have destroyed their party. They're not looking to replicate that here.
There's a big Florida energy around that. Like, there are a lot of Hispanic voters in Florida that are saying what the Democrats talk about sounds a lot like what my parents and grandparents said they fled from.
Right.
Yeah. And we don't want that here. Let me propose an alternate theory. And just for the sake of debate, what if it's just that Trump's the one that's most persecuted? What if you have a lot of like African American males who feel like they are subject to persecution by the white man, and they see Trump getting persecuted by a lot of white men, and they identify with that, and they're like, you know what? They're chasing that guy. I have some sympathy for him. I have some desire to be associated.
The billionaire white guy.
Look, it's an argument.
I would say it's fair to say that there's probably some of that. I don't think it's a lot. I think there's also a lot of, look, man, there are people who like gold chains and gold toilets, and Donald Trump is the king of the golden toilet. It's like he
was that in the last election. What you're seeing in this story is that it's rising. That would that would explain more Trump 2016, because he was kind of a Trump tight, right? A rap icon. Mac Miller wrote the Trump song, and now I think he is known basically more by his time as president and these political prosecutions.
You know why?
No, go ahead.
You know why? That may be. Let's say it's true. The reason why I don't like the argument is because it drives me insane every time Trump gets in front of a microphone and he talks about the persecution complex. When I've said it a million times, we all know this. The only words out of his mouth have to be inflation and immigration. That's it. Yeah. That's it. Because
that is never going to happen.
I know. It's a fever dream. I get it.
If he just made a video on a rant where it was like a very, I got a friend and they can't afford to buy. They go to the grocery store and they're spending $300-400 a week. Everyone's going to hear that. Those are the viral TikTok memes where you got these 25-year-olds being like, "Here's what we bought a year ago. Here's what we bought today," and it's like there's nothing left. There are young people that are upset about this, and Biden's not talking about it. He's praising Bidenomics.
In a way, it's sort of a tailwind for us because people feel it every day. You almost don't have to talk about it. What people don't feel every day? The debt.
Yep.
So you kind of have to talk about it to get people to think about it. But I mean, here.
Oh, that's the hardest thing, man. No one pays attention to the spending bill for the most part. No one pays attention to how the government is spending money and what that means for your savings. They don't understand why interest rates are going up or how it affects them. It's just day to day. But then one day they're like, whoa, why is my milk 35 cents more? And then some people might be like, it's only 35 cents, right? And then within a month or 2 months, now it's $1. And it's all related. If the government is just raising the debt limit and spending money that doesn't exist, or printing it or creating it or fractional reserving it or whatever, then it's devaluing all the currency everyone else has. It's driving up prices. And then people, they wonder why it's happening. But the one thing I can say is, I don't think it matters who's in office when the economy is bad. All that matters is the economy is bad. You can make all the political arguments in the world for what Biden supports and doesn't support. And
he put his name on it. The idiot put his name on it. He branded this economic disaster his own.
Bidenomics.
Who the hell's advising this guy? I couldn't believe it. It was shocking. He's trying to hand us the election, and we're doing our best to push it back to him.
Yeah.
That's what drives me nuts. It is ripe for the taking. Let me ask you, Mac, ask you a question?
Please.
Okay. Do you think the Democrats, the persecution with Trump and this pushing of Trump was in order to get him the nomination? Or do you think they're that smart and devious? They thought, look, the more we do this, the more we get Ami Horowitz, who might not necessarily support Trump, speaking out publicly for him because it pisses him off. Do you think they're that smart?
I don't. I think that there's just a bloodlust with him that will not go away until he is dead.
Okay.
And he will sort of forever be challenged. Now, had he gone away,
in a matter of speaking.
Yeah. Had he gone away and played golf at Mar-a-Lago and not re-entered politics, it probably would have been a lower level persecution, making sure he could never get financing for business deals, making sure he could never, re-engage on social media platforms. But because he was running again, I think there was a real bloodlust for utilization of criminal law.
Well, he is a comic book villain for them to fundraise off of. So
he's also the one thing that unifies their coalition. Like, what is the Democratic coalition without Donald Trump?
Nothing.
Like, they need him because without, like, in a weird way, Trump and Biden kind of need each other.
Yeah.
Right? Because Trump is able to contrast directly with Biden on the economy, whereas if you get a Gavin Newsom, it's just, it's the art of the imagination and the possible. Whereas Biden, you have a clear record to run against. And I think Biden needs Trump because the central argument for Joe Biden's candidacy is, well, I'm the one guy who's beaten Trump.
I think Joe Biden's going to drop out.
So walk me through what you think is the time frame on that and the replacement strategy.
So I don't know. What I should say is I think there is a high probability, whatever that number may be, that Biden is not the nominee in 2024. And
for health reasons, or
yes, health reasons.
Okay,
absolutely health reasons. Now I don't know, because it would seem, with all forward-facing information and everything from the news, Joe Biden is going to run again. But they know he can't win. What is it, 70-some-odd% of Democrats, and all of these polls say he's too old.
Dude, nobody's running against him. There's two ways to run for office: unopposed and terrified. And Joe Biden is functionally unopposed.
Look, but they've got to bring in Newsom. I mean, he's their only. Newsom is substantially better for Democrats than Joe Biden is. Joe Biden recently there was a CBS report, I think it said, that he's concerned he won't live long enough, that Hunter Biden's legal troubles will persist and he may die soon, or something to the effect.
That's because legal troubles are going to go on for another 40 years.
For sure. But then you had Washington Post run a story where they said a Democrat in Ohio outright claimed Joe Biden's death is imminent because of his old age. So when you've got local Democrats all saying this guy's not going to last much longer, they
certainly have to keep him away from bicycles.
He fell off one and stairs. But I mean, you've got just recently speaking to the UN when he said our institutions, and we're just like, what did he say? It may be the case that Democrats are just too weak to make the required statement of everyone who is in like all Democrat voters. We all know you are concerned about Biden's health, and we are formally asking Joe Biden to step back and allow a new candidate to stand. We'll have a primary. They need to do that. I just can't imagine, with them knowing all of this, with all of the corporate press saying this, and them even calling, and now CNN ran a big segment about Joe Biden being a liar. I'm like, these signs don't indicate a Joe Biden 2024. They indicate not a Joe Biden 2024. Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.